Hey, what's up guys? It's Matt with Show and Tell, and it's been a while since I've done a video, I know. Part of that is because, well, I've been busy doing, work, amongst other things. But also I wanted to get a new setup to record on. So I did that. I got one of the new GoPro 5s, so hopefully the resolution's going to be a lot clearer. There won't be an issue with focusing. But what I wanted to do was finally do that video that I was discussing about all the things that I've opened so far that have reserve list cards I graded. So the Stronghold boxes, the Exodus box, the Antiquities box that you probably saw when I was with Rudy in Las Vegas that I opened at Daniel Chang's booth, Vintage Magic. I got some of that stuff graded. I got really just the higher end things graded. I haven't done the entire box yet. That is next on the agenda. Because with Beckett, because that's who I prefer to go through, they will require a faster turnaround time for cards that are $500 or more. And while not all the high-end things in that were $500 or more, a couple of them were. Or really, I guess it was really just the workshop. So I ended up just getting the higher end stuff graded. I'll get all the rest of the other rares, commons, and uncommons graded here pretty soon. Alright, so we're going to do the non-antiquity stuff first, which... Alright, so Dream Halls. It got a 9.5. Basically, it's a quad 9.5 or a quad plus, meaning it has 4 9.5s or 3 9.5s and 1 10. Sorry for the glare. I don't know that there's, with these cases, there's not like a real good way to fix that. Alright, so Dream Halls. Slip that over there. Oh, what else was from Stronghold? Let's see. Oh yeah, we had a Sliver Queen. Sliver Queen. Also got a 9.5. Just a quad 9.5. Very good, solid grade. This is the sort of thing that if you're a collector, this is what you're going to want, at least. I mean, there are perfectionists who have a lot of money and they will go after only 10s, and more power to them, but that is just far out of reach for most people. And we have the Mox Diamond, which is really unfortunate because it got a 10 on surface, 9.5 corners, 9.5 centering, and a 9 for the edges. So I don't know, I don't know exactly what they saw on the edges, because to the naked eye, you really don't see anything. But not being a quad 9.5 is just disappointing. I did grade. Now, I know a lot of people are going to make fun of me for grading this card, and that's fine. It's not reserve list, but it is one of the more valuable rares out of Stronghold, and it came back as a 10. I got an Ensnaring Bridge. I got 3 10s and 1 9.5. If you get 4 10s, it's still pristine, but they give you a black label instead of this gold label. The reason I wanted to grade that one was just kind of after looking at it, I saw that there were just no imperfections that I could find to the naked eye or with a loop. So I kind of wanted to see what it would grade at. Plus, it being a higher dollar card from the box, and I love the art. Pete Venner's art is easily my favorite, even over Ron Spencer's for Ensnaring Bridge. So I just went with it. Alright, let's see. Exodus. Alright. We got an Ertai. Again, similar situation, 2 10s, a 9.5, and a 9. So just a basic 9.5. I mean, it's good that it has 2 10s, but nothing crazy. Hopefully you guys can kind of see that. I know it should be good focus. And I apologize if the audio is too loud. I don't think it's going to be too quiet. I haven't fully worked out all the kinks with this setup, but I think it's going to be a much nicer setup. Survival of the Fittest. Also a 9.5. This one's a quad plus plus, so 2 9.5s and 2 10s. Just a really nice 9.5, and I think that as time progresses, people are going to want high graded, even if it's, you know, the stuff from Saga Block, Tempest Block, Saga Block. The stuff on the reserve list they're going to want. City of Traders, the big one. Thankfully, it's a quad 9.5 or a quad plus because it has 110. So I was very happy with those. Alright, what else do we have here? Alright, let's start out with some of the more disappointing ones that I got so far. This one I opened from the Antiquities box, and it got an 8.5. But you notice that it got an 8 in the centering. Centering is just a tough thing to fight. Like, it has good surface, good edges, corners are decent, they're 9. But that centering just kills it, which is really unfortunate. So, disappointing. Let's see. I opened a Savannah, kind of with a phone camera. It was kind of a shitty video. But I opened this straight out of a pack, and it gets a 9 as well. But it's got 2 9.5s for surface and edges, 2 9s for centering and corners. So, kind of disappointing that you open a dual land out of a pack and can't get a 9.5. But that's also why I'm doing this video, because, you know, I think a lot of people don't have the right understanding or maybe the right expectations for something that is quote-unquote pack fresh. Something that you just crack. Everybody's like, oh, it's mint. Well, it's not always mint, because it's very dependent upon centering and the condition it's in when it comes out of the pack, because packs, obviously, as you know, things get shipped, things get crushed, set on, bounced around. It can do all kinds of damage to cards, even in the packs. This one is interesting. I don't think I opened it on camera, but I did open it from a pack too. It is a German, and that's a German Savannah too, by the way. This is a German Scrubland. It got 2 9.5s, a 9, and an 8.5, so it brought it down to a 9. This one I did get graded one time, and it came back that it had showed signs of color restoration, or that it was inked, potentially. Which I thought was really strange, because I opened this. I know I did. Now, I know the guys at Beckett don't know that, nor do they care. But I opened this. They said it was inked, and I should have brought the card with me, but the card, basically on the back of it, they circle the areas that are restored. There was a tiny little circle, like right here on the card, saying that that's where it had been restored, or maybe it was further over, maybe it was on the black. And I sent them an email, and I kind of questioned it, and they went ahead and they did regrade it for me for free, because they might have had a new grader, or maybe just a grader who's a little more gun shy, and he might have seen something that he might not have recognized at first and just assumed it was ink or something like that. So, and I understand that. I'd rather them be cautious than just giving everybody 10s and 9.5s right out the gate. But I was thankfully able to get them to regrade that one, and it at least got a 9, so not terrible. Let's move some of these out of the way. Hopefully that's not terribly loud. I'm not sure everything it catches. Alright. So on to the Antiquities box. So this is some of the more heavy hitters that I opened. Not all of them, because there are other heavy hitting cards that I got that I just didn't grade yet, but I will. We're just gonna bust these out because there are several. Strip Mine. So we got 5 of them here. They all got 9.5s. So this one's a quad plus, triple 9.5s and a 10. And that is the even stripe. Uneven stripe, 2 9.5s and 2 10s. So the best possible 9.5 that you can get for this particular one. Because if you get one of those 9.5s turns to a 10, it's a 10. This one, not as great. It has a 9 in there, 2 9.5s and a 10, but still a 9.5 nonetheless, so it's basic, but it's solid. Similar, 2 9.5s, a 9 and a 10, very similar to that one. Sorry for the glare. I know there's not much I can do about glare on these things because they're that very thick, hard plastic's very reflective. And this one, 3 9.5s and a 9. So it's half a point away from being just a 9. Alright, what other 9.5s do we have? Alright. Power Artifact. It's a quad plus. So 3 9.5s and a 10. Another Power Artifact. If you remember in that video, I got 4 of them. Full playset, I want to say. That one has a 10 and a 9. Another one. Again, a 10 and a 9. Actually, I guess 2 10s, a 9.5 and a 9. So it brings it down to a 9.5. Alright, and this is the one that probably everybody's asking about. It got a 9.5, the Mishra's Workshop. Now, it did get a quad plus plus, so it got 2 9.5s and 2 10s. So it is half a point away from being a 10 Mishra's Workshop. So they graded it on centering a 9.5 and corners a 9.5. Now let me look at this real quick, because I believe what they're seeing is, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this on the camera. Yeah, there's no way. Right there you can see just a hair speck of white on the very, very tip of the corner. I don't know if it'll focus that far in. So I think that's why it got docked on the corners, and that's why it got a 9.5. There could be something else I'm missing, because again, they view all this stuff under loops and different lighting. So it's really hard to know for sure, but that's also why I like Beckett, is because they give you subgrades. PSA doesn't. They grade, from my understanding, a lot more off of eye appeal, which is fine. I personally don't like their casing. It's much thinner. Not that matters that much, it's just flimsier. But I sent a Lotus to them at one time. Just going to move some of these over. They graded it and sent it back to me, and it was loose. So it was in the hard plastic, and it was loose. I could do this, and it would shake and hit the edges, which I thought was bullshit. So they also graded it. It was an Unlimited Lotus, and they graded it, for whatever reason, at a 5, I want to say. And this thing was near mint. It was by no means perfect, but it was very good. Not deserving of a 5 in my opinion. I sent it in to Beckett, and they graded it as a 9. It got it got a 10, a 9.5, a 9, and a 9 is what they graded it at. So since then, I don't bother with PSA. I'm sure it's fine for some people, and a lot of people really like them. I just prefer Beckett. All right, the last couple I have here to show you. So I got the 110, which was in Snaring Bridge, which, woo, big deal. This one it's very awesome, but it is very more akin to what you would get in a box. Power Artifact, got a 10. 3 10s and a 9.5, so 1/2 point away from being Black Label. It's a beautiful card. The centering, which is something, centering I find is the hardest thing to argue yourself out of, because it's simple math. You know, they literally measure from the edge to the inner black line on all 4 sides, and then there's certain parameters that it has to fit within for it to get a certain grade. Now this one centered really well. Most of the entire box was actually centered very well, which when I opened the very first pack I was super happy about. Even though a lot of people were like, "Oh man, you look so happy. You look like you were pissed off the entire time." And the thing there is, it was awesome. I loved opening that box. But I had been in Las Vegas for 7 days. That was a Sunday. It was the last day of the Grand Prix. I was exhausted. I was broke. I was worn out. And then when I opened this box, it was awesome. But, and not to discredit anyone there that was around me, because there was a bunch of awesome people around me. But as anyone would be, you kind of have to be cautious. I was always kind of like looking, making sure there was no hands reaching in to take my stuff or try to swipe something or just even touch anything, because if I'm going to get this stuff graded, I can't have people getting their shit all over it. Alright, Strip Mine. Got a 10. 3 10s and a 9.5. Again, 1/2 point from a Black Label. That was the only 2 10s so far. Now, I've got 90% of the box left to grade. A lot of the rares and uncommons, all that stuff needs to be graded still. And once I do that, I will I'll probably make another video, but I'm not going to show everything because it's pointless. I'll show all maybe the 10s that I get, so that we can take an average and see how many 10s are actually in a box, or in that particular box, I should say. So yeah, when you're grading stuff, the reason that 10s demand that kind of value is because it's hard. It's very hard to get a 10. So, alright, well thanks guys. If you like the video, if you want more videos, feel free to like, subscribe, beat me up in the comments, whatever you want to do. Thanks guys.